Hello, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Julie.
Now we're going to do a review of The Real Truth, a game of cryptids and conspiracies, based on the last podcast on the left. This is for 2 to 5 players, ages 14 and up, although that's for regulation purposes, and you could play with younger players. Now, we acquired this as part of our Target buy 2, get 1 free. And this is by Goliath Games, which sells into Target. We're going to give an overview of the game first, and then we'll give our rating, and then our reasons for our rating, and then we will compare it to some games behind here. So the object of the game is to score the most victory points, traveling the world, revealing conspiracies, and cryptids, which are like Bigfoot, for instance. So you see here that this is an interesting projection of the world. It comes in 4 pieces. Here's the North Pole, and because when you try to project a round object on a flat surface, a 3D object on a 2D surface, you've got the South Poles right here stretched out in 4 different locations. Each player gets a character, and you pick one of these tokens with an alignment. This is done randomly, so my alignment starts as 1, and my piece starts on 3, which happens to be in part of Canada. Julie's board is not shown here, but if she was alignment 6 and start on location 5. You reveal a card for each type of creature, and I'll show you here on the chart here. You're going to be collecting tokens here to try to capture them to improve your character's abilities. So you see, for instance, you have terrestrials, which represents the Sasquatch, the Spectra, the Phantom, Men in Black, which is an agent, aliens, and then you have these tokens. Now, EVP is the electronic voice phenomenon. That's what that means there. You had to watch a video to find that out. It didn't tell you in the rule book as far as I know. The number of turns that you play is based on the number of players. So in 2 players you have 12 cards, 3, 11, 4, 10, 5, 9, 6. That's interesting, there's 6 players. I don't know how you do that since it only includes pieces for 5. That's something I just noticed. So each character gets movement cards here. You get 2 mission cards that are incomplete, a hidden identity. So for instance, if I complete missions with the alien or terrestrial symbols on it, I'll get 2 victory points each, up to 10. And then you get these tokens here to start out with. You have 3 missions that are face up that you collect. You can collect when you visit the North Pole. You'll see there's additional movement cards you can collect here at the South Pole. And when you visit there, you just take the top one, and it allows you more options as you move around. The other identities go here that you don't use. You'll see there's starting movement cards for the other players. So the turn sequence is pretty simple. You're going to draw an event card and do what it says. It says here, all players get 1 extra movement card this round. So normally you get to play 2 movement cards. And if you want to get your movement cards back, you have to play a reset. And when you reset, based on the number of movement cards in your discard pile, you can change your alignment. So if I had 3 cards in my discard pile and I reset it, that means I can move up to 3 spaces into a 4. Now, why do you want to do that with your alignment? Because you can collect followers here. So each follower is worth 1 point as you travel around the board. If I have, right now my alignment's only 1. So I need at least a 4 to collect this follower, a 10 here, a 7 here, and a 1 here. So I could get this one, but I'd have to go over there. And as you start moving around, you collect these tokens. So this would be an EVP, a document for Men in Black. Here is plasma for the aliens, and tracks for the terrestrials, which is the Sasquatch. So you play 2 cards, and if I were to play this one, for instance, move by train, I'd get 1, 2, 3. I can get a blue, a green, and I have these at different places around the board here. And a document. I add it to my pile. Now, how do you capture these creatures, and why do you want to do that? So on the bottom here, to capture this Men in Black card, I need 2 documents and a plasma, but I need to have an alignment of 7. So with my alignment being 1, I can't capture him. Now, if I land on, you must stop when you land on a creature. Or if one's pushed onto you by another player, there's a little bit of take that in this game. You have to give up 2 resources. And you can choose whatever you want. Right here, I would have to give up 2. So right now, based on my alignment, I'm going to have to move around and move my alignment up to try to capture these. And if you do, you get these permanent abilities. For instance, I could trade 2 tracks for any 2 resources once per round. And what do I need to get this terrestrial? It tells you what it is. It's a gargoyle. I'd have to land on that space, have at least a alignment of 6. You could have one or, sorry, not at least. You have to be within 1. So I either have to have a 7, a 6, or a 5 alignment to capture this gargoyle, and I need to have 3 tracks. To capture this ghost, it says right here, Little Devil Mosina, and it will give me this ability once per round. And I need to have a track, an EVP, and a document, and I have to have an alignment of 9, 8, or 7 to capture it. Remember, I have to move to where it is on the board, too. And then this one right here, the Ananta Shusha, will give me, use 1 movement card, so I can use 3 movement cards instead of 2 per round. And that's what I need to capture it. I need to have a 10, 9, or 8 to capture it. Now, there is a little bit of cooperation when you move into a space with another character. They also get that resource. If I move through here where Julie is, she'd also get a document. Again, if you play a card where you get to push, there's cards here that you can get that can push creatures onto other characters, like this one right here. So due to the actions, I can move twice, for instance, push a creature twice, or adjust my alignment. So I do 2 of those 3. And if a creature is pushed onto a character and they can't pay to capture it, they're going to have to lose 2 resources. So we have some hidden movement here. Now missions, this is where you get your victory points, your most victory points. You have 2 incomplete missions, and then you can hold up to 4, and you get more, as I said, going through the North Pole. So right here, I have to go to spot 6. This will give me a Men in Black and a terrestrial, an agent. And by the way, this is based on the podcast. You can scan this QR code and listen to the podcast that's about the Bermuda Triangle. To complete this mission, I have to spend, let's see here, how much is that?
3 footprints.
3 footprints? Is that what it says?
Yeah.
It's really hard to see on camera here. 3 footprints.
1 briefcase.
And 1 briefcase and 1 plasma.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a 3. I don't know why I was having trouble seeing it. And what's the reward? I get 2 victory points and 2 EVPs. And then for this mission, you start out with 2. I have to go to space 9, and this will give me these icons. And why do these icons matter? Because I want to get aliens to get additional victory points for my secret identity. The cost here is 1 track, 1 EVP, and
2 plasma.
2 plasma. And I get 1 victory point and 1 track and 2 documents. So what you're doing now is you're running around using your cards. You have to reset. You can get more movement cards. You get a mission when you cross the North Pole. You're modifying your alignment because it's got to go up or down in order to capture creatures, which gives you abilities, and to complete missions. You don't have to have a certain alignment to complete missions, but you do got to have a certain alignment to capture creatures and to get these followers, because each one of these is worth 1 victory point. So if you cross over it and you have the proper alignment, you get it, you store it, and then you'll reveal more. And once these are gone they're gone. I mean, once they've been collected, you don't put any more out. So you keep on playing. In the case of a 2-player game, 12 rounds. You reveal always a new event at the beginning of a round, and you see there's a first player token. So in terms of victory points, if you look on this chart right here, you get victory points, 1 victory point for each follower, completing missions, alignment. There's certain secret identities where you get victory points depending on what alignment you end the game with. Creatures, you get the total number of creatures that you have is worth 1 point. But if you have a variety of creatures, for instance, if you have all 4 types, the terrestrial, the agents, for instance, and the ghosts and the aliens, I think I said, you get 6 victory points. But if you only have 1 type, say you only collected agents, you're not going to get any bonus points. And whoever has the most points wins. So that's an overview. Now we're going to give our rating here.
Okay.
So let's go to that slide. So what would you rate this?
I would say probably like a 3.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. 3, likely won't play this again. The reason why it's not a 2, won't ever play again, because if there's a young person or a gaming group that says, let's play the real thing, and they really had their hearts set on it, I would play.
Yeah.
But I also warn them and says, have you played it before? And if they said they have and they really like it, then I'd go along with it.
Yeah.
But if they've never played it before, I'd say,
let's try something else.
we should probably play something else. But if their hearts were set on it, I could play this again. But we avoid this game. We didn't even complete the game.
Nope.
We got about 4 rounds in, and
we were done.
It's so fiddly. Because you play 2 movement cards. You play a movement card, and you got to remember where you go, collect the icons, and then you're trying to plan. Okay, what do I need for these missions? What do I need to get this creature?
Yeah.
Do I have the right alignment? And that's almost every time you play a card, you got to do a recheck. And then do it again. And then as you collect these, then you have even more choices. Do I play this card or this card? And then you're trying to maximize. So it's very fiddly for a very simple game.
Yeah.
So let's go over our reasons for why we say it's 3 bad.
Okay.
Is it fun?
No.
No, because as I explained, it's very fiddly.
It's too hard.
Yeah. Well,
for me, it's like too much going on.
It's too much going on for
Yeah.
you for what it is.
Yes.
For me, it's not worth the effort. We're going to compare it to some other games that do this same kind of idea of getting victory points and completing objectives in a more elegant way.
Yeah.
The theme is here.
Oh, yeah.
You will learn, if you can read it, it's very small text, okay?
It's so small.
If you can read it, there's things that you'll learn about the different events, and then you got the podcast QR codes on some of these cards. And the fact that you have these different types of phenomenon here. Mm-hmm. However, traveling around to these number of locations is not thematic. Mm-mm. And collecting tokens, okay, why do you get a plasma token? I don't know, because they decided to put it on the map. So the cards are thematic. What you do in the game on the board, moving around, is not.
No.
Capturing creatures, I guess Sasquatch is here as a 6. I don't know why. Why is there a ghost here? I guess you would have, because it doesn't tell you why they're there. The missions tell you some stuff, so it's half and half thematic. Mm. So the theme is not strong enough for us to be like, I would play this for the theme. It's not strong, not enough there. Art-wise, okay, it's kind of mysterious.
It's so dark. It's really hard to see pictures, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're trying to go for the
spookiness or something.
The spookiness and mysteriousness of it.
I
don't care for the board.
No.
Okay, so the art is not enough here. Mm-mm. It's not. It's a thumbs down.
Yeah.
So the theme is kind of neutral. Fun gameplay, thumbs down. Okay, components. For the price point, it's decent enough. Okay, it's not quality, but you're not being charged a lot for this game. You can see how thin the pieces are. It will work for the price point. Okay, it's not a very expensive game.
Yeah.
The miniatures.
They're okay.
They're okay. They're average. They're not the best. They're not the worst.
Nope.
There's just enough detail. Now we go to complexity. Well, and this is going to relate to the rule book. So the rule book is a mess. You have to watch the video that Goliath shot for this. I could not figure out enough how to play it. Now, we don't like this game enough to do a how to play and play through because we stopped playing it. Just even explaining this to you gave me a little bit of PTSD of how much I don't like this game, okay? So you have to watch the video. You cannot learn, because the problem is it doesn't include enough examples of how to read these cards. It assumes that it needed to provide examples of how to use, if they would have done that, of how to use the cards and pay for the costs and given a turn example, then you wouldn't have to watch the video. So you have to watch the video.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know enough of what's going on here. So that relates to, so the complexity, they made it harder simply because the rule book is not good enough. And so once you watch the video, okay, it makes sense. Playing time, this is too long for what it is.
Yeah.
And okay, so you say you play 6 turns. I do not want to set this up. It's just, there's too much setup time and too much fiddliness for the playing time. Do you agree?
Yes, very much.
Age and audience, okay, young person can play it. If they don't know of better games, they might think this is great.
True.
If they don't know better.
But if they do know better, they're not going to care for
There's a
the
reason
setup
why
thing.
people don't like playing Monopoly in the hobby industry, because it's too long for what it is. Okay?
That makes sense. This is very long.
This is too long for what it is. Audience, other than the cards here, will people really care about last podcast on the left? When I watched the video, which is it's narrated by the people who do the podcast, they were very interesting.
Oh, they were fun.
I can see why people listen to the podcast. I never listened to it.
They were fun.
The how to play video actually was entertaining.
It was.
It was more entertaining than playing the game.
That's true. Those guys were great.
Yeah. The design and mechanics, it's the fiddliness, like I said, distracts from it. The fact that, like I said, you got to plan ahead so much
It's too
and
much.
keep track of what's going on in order to complete your missions and it's not fun, and it's too fiddly for it to be fun.
Yep.
And again, I'm repeating myself a little bit here.
But you know.
Okay, learning the rules, already talked about it. Educational merit. Okay, if you want to talk about mythology, of different creatures and conspiracy theories, if you have somebody that's into that, a young person, this can maybe spark their interests, or you play it because they are so interested in it, but the game's just not good enough to warrant the educational merit. So in other words, the educational merit, the gameplay, in our opinion, is so we don't want to play again, does not outweigh the educational merit. So even as a parent, be like, is there enough going on here? Yeah, there's some reading and things like that. Still would not want to play it. There's better games to play that have just as much educational merit. There's some accounting here.
Yeah.
There's strategy in terms of planning, and there's some reading if you decided to read the cards. So one thing I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
There are some graphic design issues. It is hard to read.
Oh, so hard.
The gray on black, the dark on black. Now here you can see it because I'm zoomed in and there's a lot of light here. If you try to play this game in a low light, good luck.
Yeah.
And you'll see here there's a particular blue. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, right here. See, right there, the white on blue.
Oh,
Look how much you got to zoom in. Go to any South Pole. So when you see that right there, it's very hard to read.
I didn't even notice it.
So the graphic design, and this is too small of text. So this is another reason why we don't like this game, is there's some problems with reading it. It makes it very...
Doesn't make it fun.
Right. So that's why it's a 3.
Sorry.
So hopefully we saved you some money if you watch this first before you buy this. Let's compare it now to some other games that use maps.
Woohoo!
A world map like this.
Okay.
So Pan Am. This is not about conspiracies.
Nope.
It's recreating the days when the first airlines were spreading out and doing routes all over the world, and Pan Am started buying them up. So it's based on history. So it's a bidding game. You're bidding on what actions you want to do. So we play this. We still have to do a review of this. This game is excellent.
Oh, yeah.
And it's discounted often. So there is a world map, and you are trying to score the most victory points, creating routes, and hoping Pan Am buys them up because you have Pan Am stock.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
So the only reason why I'm showing this, because this is a world map too, where you're trying to complete objectives, in this case routes, and selling things. Now, the next one, this is an excellent game here. We still have to do a review of this.
Love this game.
You draw cards to move to different locations, collect souvenirs, take pictures to complete objectives on these cards. So you need certain. So when you go to this location, the Great Barrier Reef, you need those cards. You can use these cards to move, but you also use these cards to collect the objective, and you're trying to score the most victory points. This game is played similar to this, except this is fun.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an excellent game. We highly recommend this, and we need to do a review of this.
I agree.
And excellent pieces and art.
Yep.
Now, we haven't played this game in a while.
Which one?
My mother liked this game a lot, Expeditions.
Oh.
And this one,
I don't remember this one.
you're placing arrows, completing expeditions based on history.
Oh.
I don't even know if this is available anymore. And so you have 3 expeditions. You can and you take turns moving, placing these arrows to complete the expeditions.
Oh.
Okay. And you're trying to get victory points completing these cards.
Ah.
So even though red might be going this way, the red expedition, I might divert it this way because I have a card where we want it to go there, or a spot.
I see.
And you may be like, well, I want red to go this way. Eventually, you're going to get it to go places. So it's a race game to try to complete your cards.
Oh.
So it's similar, but it plays very elegantly. It's not as good as Trekking the World, but it's similar to this in that you have a world map. You're moving around the map. All 3 games deal with the world map and moving around and completing things, except those 3 that we've mentioned are more fun. This is the best.
Yeah, Penham's next.
Second best. Third best. Although we haven't played this in years.
Well, I don't remember it at all.
These we played recently.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. Now we're giving some options. Although this has that conspiracy theme.
And people are into that.
Right.
Some people really
But
like that.
I don't think it comes out enough in this game. So there you go. That's our rating. We don't usually give ratings that low, but we stopped playing this. That's how much we disliked it.
Hopefully this helps you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And we look forward to seeing you in the next video.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.